Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Hi everyone. I'm Wasim Anwar from Lahore, Pakistan. We are yet again back with an exciting and informative series of interviews, starting with one of the most dynamic men in on passive. You all must have seen him on webinars and events. A man who possesses ample knowledge and carry a vision of bringing change in the lives of people. He is doctor. He's from USA. We are lucky enough to get his learning and experiences. He's none other than Dr. Jones Ajongwen. We cordially welcome, sir. You are here. Sir, how are you?
Good afternoon to you, Mr. Wazim, and good afternoon from the United States, and good evening to you. I'm really blessed to be with you. I hope you're all well and everything is fine with you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Sir, I want to know, first of all, my first question is, where you from exactly? Because mostly guests live in USA and Canada, but originally from another country. Like Mr. Charles Osong, Comfort, and many guests came. So, are you originally from USA or some other country?
Oh, great. Thank you for that question. Let me release that. I describe myself as a global citizen, and I am lucky in the fact that I was born in Cameroon, that is in Africa.
Yes.
I'll talk to you a bit about Cameroon. And then I actually, at the age of about 18 or 19 years, I left Cameroon and I went to the United Kingdom, to England, where I studied. And then I spent like the first half of my, or first portion of my working life in England before I got transferred by one of the companies that I worked with to the United States. So I can say that I have spent about a third of my life in 3 different countries. And the first one obviously being Cameroon, where I was born, where my family uh, presently resides. And Cameroon, again, is one of the countries in the central part of Africa. It's one of 2 countries that are officially bilingual, French and English. And a lot of people know them because of soccer, which is one of the national sports. And they describe the country as Africa in miniature, because if you look at the geography of the country, you probably see almost every part of the African geography, from the Sahara Desert all the way to the tropical rainforests in one country, going through the savannah. It's a country of about 472,000 square kilometers and about 27 million people. As I said, it's been a country that for a very long time has enjoyed a lot of peace and stability, except unfortunately for the last 5 years, there have been some armed conflict that has left a lot of people displaced and really putting a lot of stress in the country. So I did my earlier part of my growing up there. And then when I went past high school and I was going towards the university, I was one of those lucky people that had like a scholarship to go and study in the United Kingdom. I was in Birmingham. I did engineering. I did a first degree, I did a PhD program, and I did an MBA, Masters in Business Administration, as well as a postdoctoral research program in Birmingham. England, I look at that as a country that provided me with a lot of education, more than just the academic education, because it was in England that I actually got to interact with people outside of Cameroon. I had the opportunity to live with and interact with people from, obviously, from Africa, other countries in Africa, from other countries in Europe, other countries in Asia. I actually had one of my very good friends while I was a student in Birmingham, Aston University in Birmingham. His name was Ryan. He told us that his name was Mr. Bright and he was from Lahore. I realized that is where you're coming from. So I don't know whether the idea that he kept telling us that Ryan means bright. So that's why he made us call him Mr. Bright. And then I finished. I started working in England. I got married in England. We had kids, some of our kids in England, and the company that I was working with finally transferred me to the United States and I am based in New Jersey. That's where I've been for the last maybe almost getting to 20 years.
Great, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, thanks for this detailed answers, and we would glad to know about Cameroon. Of course, many leaders on passive, many leaders created from Cameroon, like Charles Osong, Comfort, and many others. And of course, your wife, Dr. Patient, as well. So uh, uh, that's great, sir. Sir, tell me about your family if you want to know, we want to tell about this.
Okay, yes. Talking about my family, I am starting from who I am. I'm the one out of six from my parents who are both deceased, the only boy. So I have mainly sisters. I grew up with them, and my sisters, some of them, most of them are back in Cameroon, and I uh, I am here in the United States. I'm married. You talked about my wife, Dr. Patience. We have 5 children. The oldest one, she has she's a psychologist, and she's got a master's degree in psychology, and she's doing a part-time PhD program now. Our son had his own master's in digital communication. He's working. Our middle daughter, she just luckily completed her medical school from the University of Pennsylvania, and she's doing her residency in Connecticut here in the United States. And we have a set of twin girls that are just graduated high school, and they're heading to the university this year. Apart from that very close family, I have a large extended family that is actually mainly in Cameroon. Some of them are in Europe, some of them here in America. But if I want to talk about my family, I mentioned my friend Ryan. We have lost contact, but when I was in the United Kingdom, I ended up having friends from different parts of the world that started extending my family to those areas, and have given me the opportunity to visit different countries. But when you talk about myself and my family now, I see myself as somebody who is starting to have a very big growing family. And that family includes somebody like you and all the people in ONPASSIVE that I'm blessed to meet on a daily basis.
Oh, excellent, sir. Mashallah, very educated family you have, and beautiful kids you have. So happy to know about Ryan. I think his name is Rehan.
Okay,
Maybe some
maybe
pronunciation.
he modernized it when we were in
Yes,
England to make it easy for us.
yes. I think Rehan name is Bright, so Rehan. So some people say according to their pronunciation Ryan or something. So maybe so that's good, sir. And sir, you told me about your degree and education, sir. Would you like to introduce yourself in details? Where have you been working throughout these years? What is your expertise in details through the from Cameroon to now United States? Of course, you was in United Kingdom too. So, how was your journey before on Pacific?
So yes, it's been an interesting and a blessed journey in the sense that when I left Cameroon after high school, I was very passionate about doing chemical engineering, and my focus was really to do biochemical engineering. The reason being that if you think about Cameroon, they produce a lot of fresh fruits and they produce a lot of food. But the problem is that just like with a lot of developing countries, you have the planting season and then the season that there is really like no food because um, everything is either still growing or the harvest has ended. And then during the harvest season, you have a lot of stuff that gets harvested. And because we did not have the way to preserve most of these things, most of them, especially the fresh fruits, they got damaged. So one of my inspirations or one of my aspirations was always to go and learn and then come and see how I could help preserve some of these foods that were being produced so that you can have food all year round. And so when I got to England, I got into the engineering, and I learned a lot of those different aspects. Then I finished, I had the opportunity to do advanced education and do master's in business administration, which I thought was necessary for me to understand how business runs. But then when at the point that I was getting ready to go back to Cameroon, it was just during that time when the economy globally was really kind of tight and there were no opportunities for me. However, there was a company in the United Kingdom that were willing to employ me. And so I started working in England initially to, gain a bit more experience with the aim of still going back to go help. But, life has different ways that shapes out, and your trajectory that you start may not necessarily be where you end. I started working with this company, and I got really lucky because it gave me the opportunity to visit and work with people in a lot of countries. So while I was working in England with the pharmaceutical company, they had branches in Ireland. So I had the opportunity to go work in Ireland. They had branches in the Netherlands, in Germany, in France, in Singapore. So I ended up, and as also in China. So I ended up having the opportunity to go out there and actually see how people are in different areas. And it really created in me that mindset that we are all one human body. We can have religious, we can have political, we can have racial boundaries that we artificially create. But at the bottom line, we are all one creation with blood flowing in our bodies. And then when I got to they had the opportunity that the company transferred me to New Jersey in the United States. Again, I got into the area. I was working as a process engineer and a project manager, and I ended up working on a lot of projects, again, in Canada, in Mexico, in different parts of the United States, in Puerto Rico. And I also worked remotely with projects that were based in places like Brazil and Argentina. Again, giving me a better understanding of humanity until ONPASSIVE found me as a blessing. And now when I think about my journey going forward, I am actually thinking about not only using those engineering aspects that I had acquired, but for the last 10 years, I had branched from engineering and started providing financial advising and became almost like a financial professional, providing financial advice to a lot of people, because I found out that most of our people they work a lot, but they do not actually understand how money works. So I have been helping to educate them to see how they can actually make best of their money. And that is something which I have sort of been doing with ONPASSIVE. Maybe I can touch on that a bit later. But looking at what my next phase of my work journey looks like, my prayer and my hope is that I remain healthy, and ONPASSIVE gives me the opportunity to actually go down to other areas. You hear that I mentioned a lot of countries in Europe, in Asia, and in America that I've worked, but I have not had the opportunity to work in Africa, even though I'm from Africa. So my dream now is to leverage ONPASSIVE and go to different areas in Africa and be able to contribute towards lifting of humanity.
Great, sir. Excellent, sir. Excellent, sir. Sir, we all know Dr. Patience. Your wife is another proud founder of ONPASSIVE and great speaker. Inshallah, we will see in next in any interview, Dr. Patience. So, how was your first interaction with Dr. Patience? How did you met in United Kingdom? As you told.
Yes. So when we were in the United Kingdom, um, we were all students. I went to the United Kingdom before her, and we were students. We had a Cameroonian student community.
Oh.
The reason that that community was created initially was because some of us who went maybe earlier, when we got there, we did not have anybody who could mentor us or basically show us the way or tell us how to adjust in the new society. So we had the student union, and the student union started serving that purpose of welcoming all those new students as well as helping them network. So when she got to the United Kingdom, I was already there studying, and we actually met at one of the student union events. You know, when we have student union events, like the particular event actually took place in London. And when we were done, when we leave from our different towns and we go to London, most of the time after the event, you know, we probably all go sleep in one house or we go stay together and again socialize. And at that point, I saw her like somebody who was extremely mature, very family oriented, and there were a lot of similarities between us. And during the course of our student life and interactions, we got to know each other a lot better, and that's when we got to a point of actually getting to go back to Cameroon and meet the family and express our interest about getting married. When we got the family's blessings, then we got married.
Excellent, sir. Excellent. You both look beautiful together, sir, and
Thank you.
beautiful family.